Extra minutes.
Can we talk about where it all began? You were growing up in London, and you knew Mick Jagger, didn't you, as a kid?
Yeah. I know it began just by myself. First off, I thought I was the only guy in the world that was interested in listening to this music. I think the difficult thing, and I think probably for the Beatles too, it was like finding a few like-minded guys. And it sort of really began by that suddenly you bumped into somebody else and said, hey, did you hear that? You know, and maybe, you know, do you play a bit? And it all started kind of by accident. And suddenly you realize that there was a lot of other people out there interested in, maybe it was the generation thing that I'm from and the Beatles are from.
Because the only other spark of British creativity at that stage in music, in popular music, was probably that strange thing called skiffle, wasn't it?
Oh, there was that.
Lonnie Donegan, I think.
Yeah, Lonnie Donegan was probably the great example. But I do think that sort of stuff did turn ordinary guys, I mean, not trained musicians that had never thought about it, saying, hey, you can actually make music that turns people on without having to go to the Royal Academy of Music, without having to have formal training, that there's music inside people. It's called folk music, basically. I mean, it's minstrels, that's what we do. It's passed on without any formality, you know. You say, I can touch people this way.
Sure.
Hey, you know, I mean, what more can you ask for, you know?
And 50 years later, of course, you are the Royal Academy of Music.
It's terrible.
You've had the best training on earth.
If only I can remember it.
Talk to me about Satisfaction. I mean, that was a song of youth revolution, wasn't it? And was also critical of, if I'm thinking of those lyrics, a guy comes on the TV and tells me how white my shirts can be.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's looking at it. It was the way the world is, and still is, actually. I mean, but it was the first time, I think, that it had been pointed out that you're being targeted every minute of your life, whatever you turn on or listen to, that somebody's after your money. And it depends where you want to put it.
It was also about sex, too, about sexual revolution.
Well, there's always that. Yeah.
Except people supposedly were getting satisfaction.
Well, some of us were.
You were getting it. So you were singing for all those kids out there who were.
Yeah, and there was, obviously, it was in the air with that generation at that age. Sexuality was, and it was also very ambiguous at the time, you know. Some people were a little behind the times, other people were like, you know, yeah, let's go love crazy, and so it was a very confusing time for a lot of people, I think. And, at the same time, it was a generation coming of age, huh?
Because I've lived a life on the road, I have a fair spread of ages of kids from the 30s to early 20s to 12. And even the 12-year-olds love the Rolling Stones. Do you know that you have fans that young?
Yeah, I know. I don't know how quite we crossed the generation gaps somehow. I can only presume, you know, that it's good music, and everybody's had a good feeling when they hear it, when they grow up with it. You know, there's the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, and then there's the Rolling Stones. And I guess we're just part of the furniture, you know.
And you've been very good for my kudos at home, that I've got to say thank you very much, Keith Richards, for talking to me.
Hey, thank you very much, and I'll see you over there soon.
My whole life has been a preparation for this moment.
Charlie, I wish I could say the same.